YouTube has force locked my video talking about the whistleblower and their work history and complaints and criticism from those who believe it's a political hit job. The whistleblower in question has worked with Biden. He has friends who now work with Adam Schiff, and there are a lot of questions about what his relationship is with these anti-Trump personalities. His lawyer, for instance, said the coup has started. So at this point, yes, it's become newsworthy. But I'll tell you what. First, my post on Facebook where I got really angry was banned. This is what you're seeing on the screen. I'll describe it for those that are listening. YouTube video was locked. Even though the video's been up over a week now, since the 31st, with nearly 300,000 views, it's still live on other platforms like Minds and BitChute. I take it all down. This is an attack on journalism. This is journalism. What I'm doing, okay? First of all, if I'm giving my opinion on something, fine. But I am breaking down facts and reporting on publicly available information. What YouTube and Facebook are doing is nightmarishly dystopian. And I've warned over and over again. First, they're going to ban conservatives for naughty words, but they will stop the journalism given the chance. So let me break something down for you. And then it's not just me. Matt Christensen was doing his podcast and YouTube took his video down in the exact same way. They forced it into private mode. They're doing this because if they delete the video, people will say, why was the video deleted? They'll say video removed or unavailable. Instead, they force it private, and the video said this video, and then all people will see is this video is private. And so they'll assume we did it. Nope. They locked it. And they did it to Matt Christensen, and they've done it to other people. Simply for mentioning the name, which I'm not going to say right now, because guess what? That's right. We are forced to adhere to insane rules that are anti-journalism, and now I have a choice. See, if I published the name because I had the image, this video would just get locked. You'd never see it. So I have to make a choice now. Do I want to talk about the problem? I do. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm not optimistic. We've seen the waves of censorship. We've seen the Donald Trump subreddit being quarantined is complete and total BS, and we all know it. You don't got to be a fan of their opinions, but they apparently locked the biggest forum for Trump supporters over threats of violence to police officers. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. The Donald threatening cops. Go over to the anarchism subreddit and you'll see posts every three comments talking about weapons and how they actually have the far left subreddits have tags specifically referencing violence directed at police. Like they spray painted on walls. And the Donald's been quarantined for what, months now? We get it. I talked about it before. Coming into the 2020 election, we are going to see censorship to the extreme degree. So let me break something down for you. First, the New York Times published a story about the whistleblower. They gave key details about the whistleblower's employment history. A bunch of people said, we know who that is. That perfectly describes this individual. All of a sudden, then we started seeing conservative outlets write the story saying, this is the person, this is what people aren't being talked about. And then we saw The Hill, one of the Hill personalities talk about it. Real Clear Politics officially wrote the story breaking down who this person was, and that's what I was commenting on. Real Clear Politics, a high-profile mainstream organization cited by every major pundit because they do the polling aggregates, published a story saying this is the name being floated. And if that's the case, here are the criticisms about the whistleblower's political bias. That's what I was doing. So let me break it down. I didn't out anybody. In fact, even after people knew who this person was, I still said nothing. It wasn't until it went mainstream that I said, okay, this needs to be talked about. And not only that, on the 6th, Yashar Ali of New York Mag and Huffington Post confirmed on Twitter saying 3 sources confirm this person is the whistleblower. And then went on to say, people might criticize me for this, but it's newsworthy. Went on to delete the tweet. I don't know why. I reached out to him. He hasn't responded. Did I out anybody? No, I didn't. No, I did not. I am simply commenting on publicly available information. They did this to me before when Veritas leaked information on Pinterest. YouTube deleted my video outright. This was forced private mode. My other video on Pinterest was outright deleted with no recourse. This, they said, you can appeal. I clicked appeal, and they claimed I had misleading tags in the video. No, I didn't. And when I appealed, they just told me basically screw off. So here's what you can see for those that are listening. The first post is my video when Real Clear Politics released the name. Impeachment exposed as a political hit job. Yes, I know, it's hyperbolic, it's my opinion. That's what I believe. This guy worked with Biden. This guy is clearly biased. We knew there were reports that he was siding with one political faction, and that was a concern. And that's what it appears like. It appears like this is a guy who has a personal stake in what's happening, and is not some, oh no, oh heavens me, I just found out about some wrongdoing. No, apparently he worked with the woman who was accused of colluding with the Ukrainians. So it's all tying together. Now we're hearing testimony. I tell you what, things are breaking down and getting scary. New testimony from Fiona Hill, John Solomon, investigative reporter, and the documents he released are conspiracy theories. That's where they're going with it. And I don't know what's going to happen, but you can see that things are getting hot. Now you've got Oliver Darcy of CNN regurgitating the talking points from these witnesses saying that John Solomon, former investigative reporter from Washington Post and The Hill, is making up InfoWars-style conspiracies. Sorry, John Solomon brought receipts. I don't just take his word for it. He's publishing documents. You haven't disproved any of that. You want to claim Jones talking about cell towers and animal hybrids is on par with sworn affidavits and statements from Ukrainian MPs. I'm sorry, we got a big problem here. And the point I've made in all my videos is, when it comes down to it, you've got to choose. Do you trust the Ukrainian officials who are saying there's no wrongdoing, or do you trust the Ukrainian officials who are saying there is wrongdoing? I'm not going to tell you who to trust. I'm just saying both of these stories are out there, and you can't claim one is more right than the other. Now they are. Why? Well, it protects their interests. So I'll tell you what. I made a video giving my opinion. This guy clearly has ties. You know, you look at Matt Taibbi, you look at I'll name Matt Taibbi because he's been more explicit about it, but you look at these other left-wing journalists and they're pointing out these intelligence agencies keep doing the same thing. It is Russiagate all over again. There's now testimony claiming that Trump is an asset of Russia. I kid you not. We are back to square one 3 years ago. And all I did was talk about it. Banned. So here's what I did. Kind of in a defiant fit of rage. I tweeted Eric effing, and his name, go F yourself Facebook, go F yourself YouTube, shove your fascism up your A. And I got a notice from Facebook saying your post goes against our community standards on coordinating harm and promoting crime. No one else can see your post. We have these standards to prevent and disrupt offline harm. Okay, you know what? I'll concede I was cussing. Fine. But it's not criminal. You're allowed to swear on Facebook and arbitrarily tell somebody to put fascism up their A. Hey, wait a minute. This is an anti-fascist post. Are they banning anti-fascist content now? After I clicked continue, it said, we don't allow people to facilitate or coordinate crime activity likely to cause harm to people, business, or animals. We do allow people to draw attention to harm they witness or experience. We define harm as things like physical harm against people or animals, theft and vandalism, fraud, and voting interference. So does that mean that I could post this right now and say, I have just witnessed voting interference by Facebook for blocking publicly available information, and they wouldn't take it down? I'd be willing to bet they would. We'll see what happens. What would you like to do? Accept the decision? Request review. Well, I requested a review, and they basically told me to go screw myself. So here we have Twitter. Surprisingly, Twitter is saying go for it. Wow. You know what, man? I get props to Jack and the team at Twitter. I think that they're doing a lot of things wrong, but based on this, I think it's the mistakes they've made have been ignorance. And I'm really impressed that they said you can tweet public information. It is not against our rules. So here's a question I have. Julian Assange, Chelsea Manning, Bill Binney, John Kiriakou, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Who else do we have? Reality Winner. These are people who were providing secret information, or previously classified or protected information. And I know Julian Assange isn't a whistleblower. That's not the point. The point is they were all targeted by the government. Bill Binney was raided. Kiriakou, however you pronounce his name, was the guy who blew the whistle on waterboarding. They all faced massive repercussions from the government. Obama prosecuted more whistleblowers who leaked to journalists than all other administrations combined. This one guy, though, this guy right now, he's fine. It's really strange, isn't it? Now, I understand, first, he went through the proper channels, and now they're protecting him to no end. So I think that's the easy answer. I just find it very interesting that you have journalists right now, and yes, they exist. They're on Twitter, refusing to say the name. You have news organizations, even Fox News, refusing to say a name that's in the public. It's public. Everybody who wants to know knows. The president's son tweeted the story out. We know. Where are these journalists who are sharing and discussing and talking about the issue? They're not doing it. Strange to me, huh? There's no defense right now of what's happening. You can have all of these journalists who worked at these whistleblowers and leakers, but now today, no. The government went after these people. The government is protecting this individual. I mean, it's actually more of like a civil war in a sense. I'm not saying legit. I'm being hyperbolic, saying like, here you have two factions within the government. One saying, who's this guy? The other saying, protect this guy. It's interesting. I understand there may be simple answers for it. You know, Serum almost said his name. Not going to do it. But what about the journalists? What happened to journalists wanting to expose corruption? Where are the journalists who want to inform the public about potential wrongdoing? I tell you what, I went over to Reddit and I was looking at the comments where the story was posted in the news section saying that Facebook is going to ban people who name the whistleblower. And the comments were all cheering for it. Wow. Is that how democracy dies? To thunderous applause. Yep, it is. There were some people saying the name's already public, you can't just ban the news. And then the responses are like robots. The only reason to name the individual is because people want to intimidate him or smear him. No, I'll tell you what. I didn't want to name the individual, but the individual was named. It is now newsworthy. I'm sorry. That's just how information works. So for YouTube to take my video down when I was commenting on a high-profile, publicly available story from a mainstream news website is mind-blowingly insane. I tell you this, man. On the same day, YouTube and Facebook just decided to start banning this content. This video was up since October 31st, collecting around 300,000 views. What was the point of locking it? The video's already live on other websites. People who wanted to see it have already seen it. It's not even really getting views at this point. And I already got, look, it's monetized. So I made ad revenue off it. Like the whole thing was done. I can only imagine that, I mean, I can cite Hanlon's razor, but is this on purpose? Are they trying to Streisand affect this dude's name? Are they trying to make sure this is the big story? That journalists are getting shut down? Well, I'll give you the latest update. We got a story from the Washington Post. Facebook and YouTube block spread of supposed whistleblower's name and photo. Twitter allows both. I reached out to my YouTube partner manager, and they're not, what you got to understand about YouTube is that it's not one person at YouTube with tentacles controlling everything. These people I work with have no idea what's going on. And so I reached out and said, hey, is this for real? Like, are you seriously? Because I've named the whistleblower in like 7 videos at this point because his name's public. And I was making points about the various articles. When I want to talk about what Donald Trump Jr. did, the president's son did this. Here's the tweet. Uh-oh, guy's name's in it. Are you kidding? I can't talk about that? It's the president's son. He's got 4 million followers. So I sent an email saying, is this legit? That any mention of this publicly available information, I can't comment on it. I can't say it. It's everywhere. This is insane. I didn't say it like that, but I was just like, please tell me this is a mistake because, according to CNN now, you're going to be banning all of my videos. And they said, we're going to look into this ASAP and we're going to get back to you. Now, when Matt Christensen, I guess Matt doesn't have a YouTube partner manager, he said they were just like, hey, we're going to look into this. Too bad. We don't know how long it'll take. Sorry. Because he used the official Google Help feature. I actually have a YouTube partner manager. Don't tell me why. I don't know. There's also big news that YouTube announced they'll ban you if they find you not to be commercially viable. Yeah. So Twitter's getting a lot of flack. It's a really, really weird political environment. I'll tell you what. I don't necessarily need to read the Washington Post story for the most part. They're calling it coordinating harm to report the news. Let me put it this way. I understand my post on Facebook was a bit angry and I was swearing. And I said, shove fascism up your A. I don't think that could be taken as a literal threat to anybody because fascism is an intangible concept that can't be placed inside one's rectum. So, but if they want to argue, saying something like that is off the rails and they ban me for it, okay, fine. I will concede I was angry with that post. I've made other posts and other people have made posts where it just says this content is not available right now if you try to link to the story. If my other posts get banned, that's the more alarming precedent. I will absolutely concede me cussing and saying, Fine, maybe that's why they took it down. Totally accept that. But I have other posts that I put up recently. So far, nothing has happened. If they take these posts down, I think that's a step beyond. We're already over the line, okay? Some other people have posted stories, and I've seen it, and the link to the story just says this content is not available. If they take down my posts addressing the controversy, addressing the censorship, that's when, we've gone one step beyond. And that's when, you know what? No, I just say this. We're entering 2020, okay? Political season is here. The Donald is quarantined for dubious reasons. They're censoring publicly available information. The biggest mistake the establishment ever made was allowing the peasants the ability to speak. And we have now used that ability to challenge them. And they are trying to shove that toothpaste back in the tube, but it's not going to work. They're trying to find every reason to shut me down. They're deranking my content. They are banning people outright with no strikes. I think it's going to get substantially worse. And I think we all know it. Going into the next several months, you are going to see a rapid escalation. Anything that is in any way not anti-Trump, deranked. Now, I will admit, there are progressives getting deranked as well. Like David Pakman, for instance, is in the same boat as me. They're coming after him. So we'll see. I think in the end, they realized, I'll put it this way, because I don't think it's necessarily a grand conspiracy. I think YouTube realized they're at great risk of commercial inviability by allowing this kind of content. So YouTube's in panic. They've been smeared and attacked by political actors. So they bend as quickly as possible. And here we are. The censorship is coming. But you also have to recognize there are people at these companies who are biased. The Gizmodo report tells us Facebook employees were overtly biased, so they censored conservative content. The leaks from Project Veritas tell us the employees in the Google emails said they wanted to strip certain abilities from Ben Shapiro, Prager, and Jordan Peterson. We know it's true. We know that these people exist. We know that ABC News shut down one of the biggest stories probably of our generation. They shut it down, and guess what happened? ABC News, when this information leaks to Veritas, contacts a different company and gets an innocent woman fired, claiming she had access to the footage. Well, James O'Keefe has confirmed she was not the leaker. And then the leaker published a statement through Veritas. There is a full-on panic mode between those who work for these companies who are amoral and will do whatever they can to win. And that's where we're at. I'll see you all in the next segment on this channel at 1 p.m. Thanks for hanging out.